ready to get started. Just a little bit late, but I'm here today to assemble my newest prototype of my NES FDS RAM adapter. I've got... I'll go over kind of real quick what's going on here. The RAM adapter plugs into the top of the Famicom. I should have grabbed one. But it's kind of difficult to fit into a front-loading NES. So, excuse me. So what I've done is I created a board to transfer the components from an original adapter to an NES adapter. And I have kind of two options here. Well, I have a few options here. So when you open a RAM adapter, it will either have 4 DRAM modules or it'll have one custom DRAM module. So basically, no matter which, I designed this board so you can do either of these. So no matter which adapter you end up with, you can use this board. So you don't have to seek out one specifically. This is my first prototype, and it had some bodge wires, which honestly, for this board, that was not terrible, just having 2 bodge wires. So here's the first prototype. Here's my last prototype. The other thing to mention is that it has 2 options for connecting the disk drive cable. Let me grab one of those real quick. There we go. So here's the disk drive cable that comes with the Famicom Disk System. I've kind of done 2 options here. The first option is to just add a connector on the top and plug it in, route it out of the top of the cartridge, and then it just hangs out of the top of the cartridge, which that'll be important for anyone that wants to use it on a top loader. The other option is I routed all the signals to the expansion port pins. If we bridge these here, it goes to the expansion port. And so then you connect, let's see, where did it? So here's a previous prototype. So this plugs into the bottom, and then this cable would normally be plugged inside. I robbed the cable from it because I needed it for a newer prototype. And so this plugs into the bottom of the NES, and this comes out the back channel, and then you plug it into your drive. And then it'll only turn your drive on if you have the RAM adapter in. So part of what we're doing is I did a new prototype, and you'll see I added this area up top, and that is so we can take the cable and kind of nestle it in there, so if you yank on it, it'll still be secure. And then I have a shell I cut. I'm gonna have to cut another one because this one was kind of just a guess. Let's see. So that goes, let me get that in there again. Goes like that. And then this secures, oops, let's see. That right there. So right now the alignment on this shell is not great. This hole needs to come over a little. But I can actually just squish this a little, like that. So it'll come out of the top there. And then, so then you can have a top loader cartridge, or you can just ignore all of that and connect it through the expansion port. So what I'm doing Thank you. Yeah, no. The funny thing is about using the expansion port is there's the perfect amount of pins to do this. Like, it has the exact number needed. And I honestly think Nintendo intended to do this, but because of various issues with the, with the disk system itself, they just kind of bailed on that idea. So, basically today, just going to put this together. I think I have all the parts I need, so I've got kind of everything scattered about my desk. We'll start with just kind of placing the smaller passive components. So, clock crystal. The expansion audio is bridged through the adapter. So just like you would with like a mod or if you had a resistor inside, it's kind of the same thing. My 1UF cap. Probably going to want to widen this footprint because the gap I'm using doesn't quite fit right, but if we pull it through, oh, you know what? I need some pliers. Be right back. There we go. Got some pliers. Also got my flush cutters because we'll need those. So yeah, I should widen this footprint so I don't have to do this, or anyone putting this together doesn't have to do it. Good. There we go. All right. Put that cap in. Throw the stuff we're done with over there. 56K resistor. Right? Obsolete, I agree 100%. This is something that's kind of been on my list forever. I think it kind of just... I remember being a kid looking at the bottom of my NES and being like, what is this port for? And honestly, I think this is what they would have done with it. So yeah, I think it's kind of... I think it's cool, but it's also kind of silly. Like, it's kind of a lot of work just to not use a Famicom or not use an adapter. All right. Got the 100K in. Do the capacitors in a second. Yes. You can use a current RAM cart for donor parts. The cool thing about this board is it's got both types of memory. So you populate one or the other. And no matter which one you get, you'll have the memory, assuming it's still good, because the memory does go bad. Oh, what did I just pull in here? 2M? Yeah. There is one part that you're gonna have to buy new, assuming. So my plan for selling these is to sell them fully assembled first and then do kits, or not. Probably not a kit. It'll probably be just the board and then maybe the expansion adapter, because that's going to be difficult for most people to make. But I used a bus terminator here instead of the resistor arrays and the diode arrays that are in the original. Kind of just saved me some space. And originally I was trying not to have to salvage everything. All right, next we need 1.2 million. Put that 1.2 million. Yeah, oh, I should show kind of my new prototype for the bottom. It's kind of a mess. So here's the new one. It'll have the connector on top like this. The PCB is shaped funny because I have the Famicom expansion coming out to this other box. So I can put this cable in, drop a connector in, and then you'll have the 15-pin Famicom expansion. So this is all still in progress. I'm about ready to order. I still got to do some stuff, but yeah. The Famicom expansion is honestly the reason this hasn't been done like forever ago. Alright, I got distracted and I put my resistors down. Where did my 1.2? There they are. I'll get my soldering iron going. Go. It's all the resistors except this 47 ohm. I don't have a 47 ohm, but it just goes to the this is the disk expansion. So on the back of the RAM adapter there's a little connector, and nothing ever used it, but I broke the pads out anyway just in case someone does something. Alright, let's do some caps now. Yeah, no, the funny thing is I've seen some people put some stuff together, and usually it's actually like really clever. My original plan, I saw someone did something similar where they took the RAM adapter board, they took the 60 pins off, and then they like wire it down to a converter. And that was like my original plan until I was like, I will make one of these and then never make another one ever again. Alright, I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 caps. Alright, so these aren't the caps I'd normally use, but I couldn't find the ones I normally use, so we're just going to make do today. Alright. These are a little wider than I would normally use, but I'll just ink them down in like that. Should be good. Where did... Get the get the legs pulled down so they look like they're supposed to be there. Or maybe we'll just... Yep, this is the downside to not having the right caps for the footprints I picked. That's actually a lot more work than it should be. Alright, got one there. Let's get... We'll do these ones next. But yeah, so feel free to ask any questions. Part of why I do it, because people have questions, and this is probably the best time to answer a lot of them. This is a project. This is actually one of the reasons I wanted to learn how to make circuit boards, was this project. I thought this was a cool project, and so I had to start with other projects because this was a little complicated for my first project. So I just worked on other things until I got to the point where I felt confident I could do this. All right. Oh yeah, I got one of Bakutendo's vertical ones as well. Just because I like stuff, but I honestly might do my own version and build this strain relief in, because with his I have no idea how to keep the cable secure, so I might just do my own. But yeah, his with a converter, that actually makes a lot of sense. The only downside, I guess, I don't know if it's a downside, because like connecting the disk drive through the expansion port is more neat than it is practical. Just having the cable hang off the top's fine too. Oh yeah, so the other thing is, like, this is a thing that happens in the retro community a lot. You'll have people that get scared to make stuff because someone else has done it already. I'd say just go for it. Like, one thing that kind of bothers me, like, I get the whole cloning thing, right? But the other thing is a lot of this stuff, like, people are thinking of, like, I guarantee you other people were thinking about making this kind of same thing that I'm doing here. And the nice thing about just going for it, and it depends on what your goals are, right? But if you just go, like, I'm a little worried that we'll only end up with one version of everything because everyone will be too scared to make stuff, and we won't ever get better stuff. We'll get, like, the first iteration of everything, and nobody will ever improve on stuff. I mean, it's probably not fair. People improve on stuff, but having a fresh set of eyes on something can improve stuff, so... I have a list of things I want to make, and even if even if someone else makes it, I'm still going to make them because I really want to make them. Now, if you want to sell them, that can be a different story, because now you have to compete with someone else that's selling it, and there might not be enough market anymore, and that sucks, but I think sometimes we tiptoe too much. And that's not to say that, like... Oh, let me see. Yeah. It is definitely satisfying when something like that comes to life. one of the reasons why I started making boards is because my first project, one of my first projects was like a repro, and it was all rewired, and I was like, yes, it works. And then I popped the ROM out and popped a new one into the socket, and then it didn't work. And then I was like, I have to check all of these connections, and if I'm gonna do that, I might as well just write them down and make my own board. So that was the other thing that got me started. But I think it's cool when people make stuff. I think even if people make similar things, I want to see more stuff made. And obviously, you should know how it works. You shouldn't just grab someone's design and just copy it outright and have no idea what's going on. You should have some idea what's going on, especially if you're going to sell it. Oh yeah, so similar to what I'm doing. All right, I'm trying to make sure I'm keeping things in frame and whatnot. I am new to streaming and doing video, so I kind of put the camera where I thought everyone would be able to see. It'll probably be more interesting once I start soldering. All right. I got all the caps except this one. Oh, missed one right there. So I'll definitely want to make sure I order the caps with the right width. Because the plan, I don't know how many I'm going to make for an initial batch, but the person I'll be torturing to begin with will be me, because I'll be putting the first ones together. All right, let's go ahead and start soldering some of these, because I've got legs everywhere now. All right, I'm using a TS100. I freaking love this thing, but the newer ones they made all sucked. I tried to buy another one as a backup, and it was terrible. This one has the custom firmware on it. What is it? Iron OS? Let's see. Can you all see that fine? I'm having a hard time telling from my screen just because of the way I've got my light set up. I can't tell if I've got a glare on my screen or if I'm just soldering in the shadows. Yeah, this one works. I do like it. If you need a ton of heat fast, it's not very great for that. I have noticed that. But for just basic soldering, it works pretty good. If you have to flood a plane for power quick, it can be a little rough. And sometimes I'll just set the temperature higher and kind of do that. Yeah, I think it depends on what you're doing. It's really great for a portable setup. If I'm going somewhere, I can take this with me, and it's super easy to just set up and use. But I can imagine it works great for what I do, but I can imagine there are plenty of situations where someone would be disappointed with it. I would prefer a proper setup. Typically stick with my blade tip here because we're gonna do some dip chips here in a second. Oh, there we go. I just realized I couldn't remember if I paid attention to the polarity on that one. So it looks like I did it good though. Alright, we'll just keep working our way up. Thank you, sir. Yeah, I worry about that too, because some chips are more sensitive than others. And sometimes you just don't know which are which. Thankfully, I frequently work with older stuff. Downside to placing them all at once like this is they get in the way of each other. Also, one of these days I need to get a proper smoke absorber. I have a fan next to me that I use usually. So far it's not too bad. Usually I would just blow it away from my face, but I have no idea what that's going to sound like on the mic. Might actually, let's find out really quick. Let's see if we get a... How does that sound? Can you guys hear that like crazy? Is it annoying? Let it run for a sec, and I'm sure people will have opinions. Let's see. Okay, cool. That's good, because I was a little worried it would pick it up like crazy. Alright. And I'll probably turn it on and off so it's just humming when I'm using it. Alright. Oh yeah. No, that's a good call. Part of the reason why I started making my adapters is because those honeybee adapters were so expensive. So I kind of went nuts with that because I didn't want to pay. What were they going for? Like $60? I don't know if that's right, but I just remember I looked at it and I was like, "Nah, I'll make one." And it was a perfect beginner project too, because like Famicom converters are dead simple. We're doing good so far. Let's see. We've got these resistors to do, and then we'll have some resistor networks to do. What am I stuck on? And then, there we go. So resistor networks, and then we'll have the dip sockets, and then we'll be ready to test, which hopefully I can just do now. Might have to shuffle around and clean some space. Yeah. No, it's interesting. With the Famicom and the NES being the same, like for a converter, you just route the signals together. It's actually kind of funny that so many converters are bad, and you can see why they ended up being bad, because they looked at a cartridge and they were like, oh, on most cartridges, or probably at the time all cartridges, they had there's certain pins that are bridged together, but if you bridge those pins together, games like MMC5 games won't work, or like VRC7 won't work. And so what happened is they just looked at it and said, oh, this isn't a big deal, bridged them together, and that's why some of them don't work. It's kind of the same for Famiclones too. They just don't work because whoever looked at it just did it really fast. Welcome! It's fun to see people popping in. I'm sure this one's more interesting than my last stream. My last stream I knew it was kind of be whatever, but I figured people would get a kick out of this one. All right, now I can do these. Honestly, might be worth considering doing a version with just all surface mount stuff that I can have a board factory do first, but I think as I get warmed up I could probably do these pretty quick. Just means sometime in the future I'll be sitting here at my desk doing like 50 of them. Yeah, so I've tested with an original FDS drive, a FDS stick, and an FDS EMU. The only one I haven't tested with is probably an FDS key, because I don't have an FDS key put together yet. Alright, so let's have a look. We've got all the resistors, all the capacitors. We're ignoring 47 because I don't have one, and it just goes to the expansion up here. This is a jumper. I can't remember why I put it there, but it's so you can tap into signals. I think it's audio, but oh, we missed this one right here. There's a capacitor we need. Yeah. Obsolete. I do have thoughts on case options, but those are going to be a way out, and I don't even know if they're feasible. Oh yeah. Well, the other fun thing now is you do prototyping boards. In fact, I've got this shell, and right now, I don't remember why, but I put this inside. So you have, this is my NES project board. So I just did a whole bunch of kind of a pin headers there, and then I labeled everything down here. But I never use these because I'd rather just take a crack at it and order a board. And if it doesn't work, just order another one, because it's so cheap to order boards now that you can just crank them out faster than it would take to wire it up, and it only takes like what, a week or two for them to get here typically. So it's just, for me, I just don't do it. I know people do it. People buy those boards, and they do who knows what with them. That's a funny thing about selling stuff like that. People will order them, and I'm like, I wonder what they're doing. I wonder what cool project they're working on. Soldering iron has to wake up. Yeah, look at that. We got a little over there. That's right. We're going to get to that. I think we bridged those together, but I honestly think they're connected together. Ooh, that was quite the... All right. Yes, so this goes into the cartridge slot, and the cable... Man, did I lose the cable already? The disc cable either connects up here at the top and goes out the front, or the top if it's top loader, or it connects through the bottom through the expansion port, and then the cable plugs in here. All right, so we've got, let's do these resistor networks next. Oh, and I don't remember. So one of the issues I found that I'm going to update is I didn't put any values next to the resistor networks. And funny enough, I went in, like, when I noticed that, because I was putting my kit together to do this stream, I went inside and put values on them. I think these ones are, you know what, let's just test. Where did... All right, let's see what I used. I think these are like 5.6 or 5.1. Oh, but this board, I gotta remember which one's the... Scoot this away for now. Let's see. So it's reading as 4.7. This one, nope. 7.7? That doesn't seem right. Oh, we'll look at that in a second. 4.7 sounds right for the other ones. This is my organization of stuff. These are pencil pouches for like a 3-ring binder. I put labels on the front. Took me forever to come up with this idea, but I'm pretty happy now that I have, because I hate little drawers. Alright, 1K, 2.2, 2.7, 3.9, 4.7. There we go. Oh wait, I have two. Why do I have 2 bags of 4.7? What probably happened is I probably couldn't find them, and so I ordered more. That is my guess. Yeah, do it. I started doing it for resistors. It's a little rougher on capacitors because there's so many values, but to me, I can just toss them in a box, and so I don't have to have like an entire wall dedicated to little component drawers, because that's how everyone else seems to do it. Alright. So one thing I changed between this version and the prototype, I don't remember why. So I started this so long ago, like probably like 2015. I picked like a dip resistor pack, and I was like, that'll be cool. It'll be really easy, and it'll just be done. And then that like got end of lifed. But I was lucky because the way I wired it up, I could still just use these. But on the latest version, I just got those set up like you would expect. Because on this one, I had to kind of like look at my board and be like, all right, I can put them in this way. So let's get that lined up. Wake up my soldering iron. Get a little bit of solder. This is one of those things where I wish I have 3 hands. All right, that lined up about how I wanted. I do this. There we go. That works well. Yeah. No, one of the things that's going to get more difficult is the cost of 5-volt flash. I think that's probably going to kill a lot of homebrewers because we kind of got to the point, like back when I started, I was like, oh, I bet we could sell like kind of like fully assembled boards for like $12, and then like, you know, and then the author of the homebrew could sell them for whatever. But now with the cost of flash, it's more like $20 or $15. Like my cost ends up being like $15. So I need to look at it some more, but I think there's a good chance that making cartridges turns into kind of a even more of a niche thing than it is. All right, we didn't get those first ones partly because I wanted to make sure I didn't undo my let's see. Those look good, except for, you know, whatever I did there, but we'll fix that in a second. Alright, so we got resistor networks. Or we got those resistor networks. We got one right that goes right here. This one's kind of important. This one's not present on the original. You'll get graphics corruptions if you don't put that there. And there's a thread on, oh, what's the website? Famicom World? That, let me see. I'm going to try to get a good look at this real quick. Oh, you know what? I could probably get a better look if I pop this out. But I need a little flathead screwdriver. So I will be right back. All right. So I know typically this is not how you would want to do this, but I just very gently lift on one side, lift on the other, and out it comes. And now I can hopefully see the text on the side of this thing. 392. Yeah, because I want to say it's 3.92. All right, get my handy bag back out. The value's kind of flexible though too. There, let's do 3.9. I'll put the 4.7s back. This aside, Next up, get this one in here. Soldering iron didn't go to sleep, that's nice. Get that lined up. That'd be a lot prettier if I used some flux, but we'll fix all that later. There we go. I just want it secure so I can just run over these pins. Go. All right, so I think that is all the passive components. So we are ready for some dip footprints. I think what I'm going to do is we'll start from the top and we'll just work our way down. So actually, instead of dip footprints, we'll put the disk cable on here, or the disk cable connector. And again, trying to figure out where I toss that cable, make sure I grab the right connector. We'll just pull the one out of here. Nice thing is this is an off-the-shelf part, so I can just buy new ones, because even though you could just harvest a lot of it off of an original, for me making them, I don't really want to do that for all of them. Oh, you know what? Yeah, that'll be good. All right. For this. Alright, this one's a weird number. So I have a whole bunch of dip footprints. Let's see. There we go. Just drop the corners on these, and we'll also do, alright, so I've got, these look like my 18 pin ones, which are a weird number. I messed up at the beginning because of that, because I looked at them and said, oh, there's 16 or something, or I used a 16 pin footprint, and that cost a bunch of time. Alright. My cheapo which pin's upset? Oh no, that's right. That's the one where I hit the corner of it. Clean that up later. All right. Make sure that's still flat. those down. There we go. Next up, we'll do the 28 pin. Oh no! That's alright. It's not a big deal, but I'm still. Oh wait, that's not 28 pin. What size connector is that? Is that 32? Yep, 32. Alright, so what I just noticed, let's see if I can get it here. So I did the indicator backwards. Doesn't really matter because I know the indicator's over here, but I'm still a little sad. Alright, let me go see if I can grab the 28 pins instead of the 32 pins, and I'll be right back. Alright, nice thing is they're even where they should be. Those. Those aside. There we go. All right. Let that wake up. Side. We don't want. Oh, look at that too. Clean that up real quick. All right. So we got the 28 pin on. Now we'll do the 18s. One down, 3 to go. Let's see. Where's that pen where it needs to be? All right. Keep going with the sockets. All right. Sad thing is, I'm putting all these sockets here, but I already know that the board we're stealing them from is going to use the 28 pin one, so I want to test both, of course. Just don't know if I want to test both today. Let's have a quick look. It'll look pretty alright. Let's do the next 28 pin. This is for the character memory. There we go. I need to grab an 8 pin and then we'll deal with this guy. Be right back, grab an 8 pin. there you go. Glad someone's enjoying it. I tried my best to get everything prepped and ready so I would have everything here, and I think I did all right at that. But of course, there were a few things I forgot. And yeah, there's not much to it right now than soldering, unless people have got questions or whatnot. We'll wait till we get to till we're ready for testing. Go. Now we have a place for the lockout chip to go. So, you guys will probably notice that this will not fit there. I have yet to find a socket that's the right width, but I was happy to find one that had the right pitch and the right length. So, for this one, we just kind of snip it apart. So, now it'll fit. Well, maybe. If I can get the pins in straight. Let's see. This one's an issue. Yeah, there we go. Get those folded over. And figure out which of these. Rather not. Let's just have a quick look. Let's see. Maybe we can very gently straighten these out. Now the nice thing is that most people won't want sockets because when they're socketed, they will not fit in a normal shell. But I need socketed so I can test components. This is killing me. Alright. See it well either. Probably because my glasses, I think. There we go. Let's see. Then there's one. This one and there. Oh my gosh, that was painful. Oh no, wait. That, what was that? pin's popped out of the socket. Let's see if we can just shove it back in there. Maybe we'll straighten it a little first. To get to the last one, and I pop a pin out. Lined up with my huge fingers. You probably can't see very well because I gotta see right now. Alright. Turn that like that. So we will pop this back out. Worst case, I'll just go cut another connector in half because that would work. I have a few. There we go. Tweezers. There we go. Popped that stupid pin back in. That was painful. Now let's hope it stays. Alright, here we go again. Maybe we'll start with my problem child pin. First part in. Feel what we're stuck on. Oh, that's going to be a problem. I'm sure part of this is the just using cheapo sockets. In. Alright. Let's solder those in before it changes its mind. Let's wake up all the way first. And also change that just a little. Now, I think that is not enough. This tip seems to struggle too, because I've got it set to 340, I think, but it's all over the place. Now I got a ton of solder on here. Alright, let's find my flux. Because the last thing I want to do is melt this stupid socket. Do I got it clogged? Sure. The last thing we want to do is splurge this everywhere. All right. Try to spread that around as best I can. There we go. Let's just get rid of that. No, not on the... Today's not my day. Everything was going so well, too. That's right, it's not a big deal. A little bit at the very top of the connector. Alright. Let's see, besides doing that, let's see how it went. Didn't melt or anything, so that's good. Alright, we need a little bit more. Right there. Now let's see if we can do the other side smoother than that. Alright. We'll just some of this might be the size of the pins. Some of it might be that I just... There we go. Oh, look at that. We should hit that over here. Oh man. Alright, let me look at... So part of what I think is happening is the fan is giving my iron a harder time holding the temperature I want. There we go. Got those in. I'll just clean up. Those look good. Alright. This is flaps the gun over there. Alright, we're going to call that good enough for now for testing and trying to not make this go on forever. So need to make sure nothing's bridged. I also have to decide how I'm going to test. I think just because I socketed everything, using my front loader is probably not going to be the best idea right now, so we'll just probably test using a top loader. So let's start robbing components. Or I guess finish robbing components. Let's see. All right. Put that with the other one. Put the character memory in. Put the weirdo DRAM in. Put this guy in. And the bus terminator in. And then finally, the brain of the operations. There we go. Alright. Let's grab the cable. Oh, you know what? I don't think I have my top loader wired for audio, for expansion audio. I don't think that's a thing I did. Nope. Let's see. Let's grab that. So I'm going to leave these jumpers disconnected for now because those route to the expansion port. I'm going to wire up the top loader audio because it shares a pin. Oh, we gotta. Issues. All right. There we go. So now, oh, I definitely want to touch that up. So now I'm just looking for all of my problems I was having earlier. Sure everything's connected. No bridges. All right. So I think we're ready. I need to grab. Oh, actually, come to think of it, I don't know if my top loader is a good idea for this because my top loaders are all original and they don't have any RF. So let me grab my front loader. We're gonna remove the EPSM. And I think the best way to go about this is going to be to pull the cover off so everything will fit. Because I insisted on using sockets. So let's grab a screwdriver. All right. I think this is going to be the best way to go. We'll see if my LTT screwdriver will fit down here. I have my doubts. Yep, that ain't happening. All right. Had I thought this through all the way, I would have pulled this apart beforehand and been all ready to go. But this is literally my third stream, I think. So I have no idea what I'm doing when it comes to that. I am finding it's a good way for me to get stuff done, though, because I try to set everything up, set a time to do it, and even if nobody came, I would probably just get this done. I wish this screwdriver was magnetic. Go. Pop the top off. Yeah, no, having people actually watch is good for sure. It's a weird thing where like sometimes I have a hard time working on stuff on my own. Like I've heard that's an ADHD thing where you need someone to like hang out with you while you do stuff. I don't know if that's true or not, but it does seem to help me. Oh, you know what? We can turn this off. I probably should be using a bigger tip. Yeah, I tend to be a night owl too. I'm still trying to come up with I guess like a streaming schedule, because I'd like to start doing it maybe like weekly or every other week, and I'm sure it would be good to have a consistent time. I kind of went for 3 p.m. this time because I figured people in Europe could join if they wanted to. Don't know if that happened or not, but I probably just have to. Let's see. Oh, missed one. But yeah, I'm a night owl too. It's kind of terrible sometimes. There we go. All right. Pop the bar off because that's, well, is that going to be an issue for me? I think that will be fine. All right, so now, since I just changed my mind about using the top loader, I need to change that jumper and connect these on the bottom. I wish I'd come from this direction first. There we go. Definitely don't want that much on there. There we go. Those are all jumped. So, I sort of explained it before, but I have the exact amount of pins I need down the expansion port. And so, with the top loader, it doesn't have the expansion port pins in the system, and so it only has one of the expansion port pins, if I remember right. So on the top loader, that one's used for audio. I can't remember the numbers, but there's one pin that's needed for the top loader to work, and then there's one pin on the front loader that's connected to audio already, or can be connected to audio. And so, to have it work with the top loader, I switch one of the pins to audio from the expansion port. But for the front loader, I just use the default, and then I connect everything else down. So that's kind of where we're at here. Now I need... So, this is going to be another thing that'll take me a second, but I need either... Probably my FDS MU or my FDS drive, because I don't know where a working Famicom disk drive is right now. It'd take way too long to find one. So give me just a second and I'll see if I can do this quick. Otherwise, there might be a part 2. Good news. They were exactly where I thought they should be. So here's an FDS MU. Here's the FDS stick. I don't remember what's on what, but we'll just grab them both. And then, since we're using the front loader, we're going to need to put this back together. So we'll go ahead and do that. Alright. This one doesn't have the Famicom expansion stuff, but that will be a project for another day. Alright. So it's going to be kind of the same idea though. Take the cable, slot it into the case. I am not a CAD person, but I'm quite pleased that I was able to do that. And then plug this in here. The pins kind of like look like they're going to be in the way, but they're not typically. So now, actually, you know what? Let's plug that in, and then we'll slot it in the case. So on one of my prototypes, I ended up snipping the pins so they're flush with the board. Am I doing this? Yeah. So I'm just struggling with the pins right now. There we go. So you can see that's not, I don't know how close I can get with this camera. That's not a huge deal. So now slot this in like that. Make sure the cables don't catch on the edge. And voila. Put these little screws back in. Now another wild card is going to be, I noticed that the EverDrive didn't like my test screen, so it's anyone's guess if it's going to like the disk system. We're just going to kind of hope for the best. Let's see. Sorry, I'm just off to the side. So I've been using this portable DVD player. It's not like a capture setup, but I can just bring it in and out whenever I need. Grab NES. And then power for the NES. Alright, I think we're ready. Ready for a test. So, this goes in like so. Pop that out the bottom. Let's see. Route my power cable over here. Pop this in. So I've redone this connector, so it should be good just sitting like that. And then we'll grab get rid of my Y cable for the EPSM. Alright, moment of truth. Let's see what I missed, because I'm sure I missed something, right? Get the TV on first. Let's see if we hear that sweet startup sound. Alright. Oh, I heard the sound. But I just realized I didn't put a lockout chip in. All right. 1 second while I grab a lockout chip. struggling to find a lockout chip. I'm gonna look in another test cart. Alright. Sorry about that. So. Oh. You know what? I think I just found. Yep. So I was about to be like, we need to desolder one from like a repro or a converter. But then I just realized that they were sitting off to the side because I was using them before. I think these ones are good. I guess we'll find out here in a second. Yeah, right? The sad thing is the lockout chip, I don't know, it's just one of those things where like I always end up taking them for my test cartridges, and now, so when I looked at my test cartridges, none of them had them. Which would have been fine normally, but with everyone waiting, I don't really want to be hunting for a lockout chip forever. Alright. Alright, real moment of truth. For reals this time. My screen hates it. But it is working. Alright. Plug in a controller. We're going to grab FDS key. Or not FDS key, FDS stick. And there's my shaky Nintendo screen. Apparently I'm gonna... Oh, there's a really sad looking Super Mario Bros. 2. So apparently my plan of using these screens is not the best plan, because to check this the rest of the way, I'm going to need to actually be able to see the picture. Yeah. I'll need to actually see the picture because sometimes there's graphics corruption issues, and from what I can see, it's probably fine, but who knows? And yeah, it does look crazy trippy. And I have no idea what issue this is. Like, I'm sure this screen's just like, you know what? No. Like, it just expects to have a DVD piped in. Like, in fact... I think I even left it... Oh, didn't leave a DVD on this one. Alright, that's fine. So yeah, not being a video expert, I have no idea what that is. At some point, I need to set up a... Yeah, Super LSD Bros. You're not wrong. Need to set up an actual capture setup that'll put up with stuff like this. Oh! I hit start and everything got a lot better. Oh, nope, nope, nope. This is... Now I'm playing it on, Yeah, that ain't happening. Alright, well... Super LSD Bros 2 works. Oh, you know what? We'll try... Let's see if we have... It does seem to care about the screen. Maybe I'll ask on Twitter, see what people... If people know anything. Let's see if the FDS MU does any better. Alright, there's my menu. You know, in theory, let me get a... Let's try the first game. Alright then. Let's see what the next game is. Oh, Metroid. Oh, is that flip the disc? Alright then, well. Oh yeah, it does say side B. I can see it better looking at the screen directly. In theory. Maybe that's an error? I don't know. Oh. Start. Alright. I'm done with this part. So, the good news is it probably works. Obviously, we saw and heard the boot menu and loaded some games. But to be actually sure, I need to find a screen that works. I'd love if anyone has any suggestions of something like this where I can just like pull it in and everyone can see for a second and then I can get rid of it. That'd be freaking great. But because ideally I don't have to have a whole entire capture set up for 5 minutes of video testing. But it works. Things I still need to do is finish the new revision of the bottom one. I need to update the markers on here. I need to test it with the 4 DRAM chips as well just to make sure that's all still working. I've tested that before. I need to cut a shell so I can give the option of the cable coming out the top, because I know there's some people that will want or need that. Oh, one thing I could try. Oh, never mind. I need to figure out the right positioning for this so that the cable sits in the strain relief right. But yeah, so I think there will definitely be a part 2, probably when I start putting this part of it all together. There's a little board that'll go in there that'll connect this up to this, which will connect, so this will like come out the side over here, out that side channel, or no, sorry, I guess it'd come out like this. So yeah, and then I need to actually try doing the cables in the case with it cut. But yeah, so kind of long, kind of all over the place, but I don't think it was terrible. If anyone has any questions, I'll answer them, but other than that, I'm probably ready to sign off. I'll give you guys just a second to think about it. Turn off my silly fan. All right. Thank you very much. I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Thanks for all for joining and asking questions and whatnot and putting up with me. So I'll see y'all later.